Hello friends, my name is Zebralette3 and in this video I'll explain the differences between splines, curves, curve morphs and guides, and what you can do with them. If you like my videos and find them useful, please give them a thumbs up and subscribe. And of course, I always appreciate your comments, whether they are expressions of appreciation or critical feedback. You can also support me via YouTube or buy me a coffee. All further information and links in the video description. Let's get started. Some time ago, the company Yuhi released Zebralette3, the little sister of its new flagship synthesizer Zebra3. As with Zebra2, Zebralette2 was free, and now Zebralette3 is free too. This is simply because it has fewer features than the larger synthesizer. But even with the Zebralettes, you can create incredibly great sounds, as many of the presets prove. In this video, after giving a rough overview over the oscillators and the parameters that are important for this topic, I want to address the very specific topic of splines, oscillator single cycle waveforms or curves, curve morphs and guides, as this seems to be confusing for many people. And another disclaimer, at the time of recording this video, the Zebralette3 and Zebra3 synthesizers are still in beta, so it's okay if you encounter a bug here and there. So first let's get an overview. The oscillator in Zebra3 and Zebralette3 are largely the same, except for a few additional features in Zebra3. But all the features I explain in more detail in this video are available in both versions. For the sake of simplicity and clarity, I'll demonstrate this using Zebralette3, which combines all these functions in one place. It starts with the source. The source determines how the displayed single cycle waveform, or simply called wave or curve, should be interpreted. Either in the time domain, as in an oscilloscope, or in the frequency domain, as in a spectrum. And depending on which source is set, the wave displayed sounds completely different. I've already made a video on this channel about spectra, frequency domain versus time domain, and what that means, which is linked in the video description. So when I use curve geometry in the time domain, I draw the wave normally as it would appear on an oscilloscope, for example, or as it would move the membrane of a loudspeaker back and forth. A sine wave, for example, is such a perfect back and forth movement. I can see this clearly when I turn the knob on the lower right side under plot domain, which is I switch between time and frequency, and then look at the drawing in the background of the curve. And there I see the waveform displayed under time and the harmonics under frequency, or in German, die harmonischen. In the renderer section, you can decide how the sound is generated, either by defining single cycle waveforms or by additive synthesis, in which the sound is created by adding individual sine waves. A church organ works roughly according to this principle. In this case, however, it uses triangle waves instead of sine waves. Depending on what you select, additional options will be available for you. With wavetables, you can select more than one voice with unison up to 16 voices and easily create a typical pad sound by slightly detuning the individual voices. With additive, you can specify the number of harmonics, so to say sine waves. The available number here is between 16 and 1024 sine waves. But the more harmonics, the more CPU power is required. With the additive renderer, there's also the modifier, which can be used to select additional algorithms and use the spectral distortion knob. The resolution roughly indicates how precisely the sound should be calculated. The lowest value is 200 Hz and goes into 2 steps over 800 Hz to 2 kHz. And here too, the higher the value, the more CPU power is required. Math also involves precision in sound calculation. And, of course, this also has an impact on the required CPU power. Precise is the most accurate and requires the most CPU power. Fast requires less CPU power, and rough requires the least. Now let's move on to the 4 terms: splines, curve, curve morphs, and guides. What they mean and what the functions they have. In Zebralette3 and Zebra3, the wavetables, so to say, the collection of single-cycle waveforms, are defined as splines rather than wave files. What does that mean? The analogy to splines can be found in graphic programs or painting programs. Roughly speaking, there are 2 types of these. Pixel-orientated painting programs in which circles, rectangles, and objects are drawn pixel by pixel. Examples of these are GIMP and Photoshop. And then there are vector-based drawing programs in which circles, rectangles, and other objects are stored as mathematical formulas, to put it simply. Examples of these are Inkscape and Adobe Illustrator. This means that such files store information such as this is a circle with this dimensions located at this point. The advantage of this is that such graphics can be scaled very easily to any conceivable size while still maintaining a very fine resolution. With pixel graphics, larger scales result in very ugly, huge pixels and edges. The advantage of vector graphics is that they can be scaled very easily from tiny to huge, with a similarly cleanly scaled level of detail. That's why files for this graphics format have the extension SVG, which stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, or in German, skalierbare Vektorgrafiken. In summary, splines and vector graphics enable extremely high detail at any scale, and the wavetables created in Zebra3 and Zebralette3 therefore always have the greatest possible detail at any speed, in contrast to the usual single-cycle waves in normal wavetables. The splines ensure the highest and finest resolution of the waveforms. The representation of the splines is called a curve. In other words, the single-cycle waveforms displayed. And the transition from one curve of a wavetable to the next curve in the wavetable is called a curve morph. This means that when the curve morph knob is used, there's a transformation from one single-cycle waveform to the next. And this transformation or transition is what is known as morphing. And this curve morph transition can happen in different ways, namely as crossfade, point-to-point, closest x and y, and peaks and values. This defines exactly how the deformation from the current curve to the next curve should occur. Depending on which curve morph transition was selected, with which settings and changes, this also results in different sound colors or timbres. Perhaps the easiest to understand is crossfade, where the first curve is made quieter and the next curve louder at the same time. Urs Heckmann explained this very well in the video. If you need more explanations, please leave me a comment. If I see that many people want it, I'll make another video about it. There are other very specific uses for curve morphs, but that's definitely a topic for another video. And then there are the guides. These are also curves, but they serve 2 different purposes. The first purpose is that the guides help to create or paint the curves, that is, the single-cycle waveform, and shape them accordingly. For example, by using the cut function above or below the guide, the single-cycle waveform curve is given a specific shape. Urs Heckmann also created some great example videos on this topic. The second purpose first raises the question. There are 3 guides, but only one is needed as a painting ad, so why 3 guides? The answer is simple. Every oscillator has oscillator effects, and some offer an additional morph effect with the help of the guides, and sometimes with curves as well, but that's another topic. With the help of the 3 guides for these oscillator effects, you can define the beginning, middle, and end of an oscillator effect morph. For example, the following effects have this guide option: curve filter, formant, map-o-matic, dual wave, window, spectral decay. So I hope the concept of splines, curves, curve morphing and guides is now clearer to you, and I would love to read your comments or remarks about what you like about this concept, whether you have any other useful tips or what is still a little unclear to you. Thanks for your time and attention, and I hope to see you soon again in the next video. Stay healthy, save the future, take care, see you then. Ciao, ciao.